Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, and we're coming at you from the Dubai cave, baby. We're back in Dubai. We're some Dubai boys, and we're ready to not be in negative 10 degrees Celsius weather. With that said, I would like to be wishing you the best and the happiest on this lovely Thursday afternoon, I think. Other than that, I wanted to follow up on yesterday's analysis with a bit of a different approach today. I'm going to be looking at a statistical and quantitative-based approach. That has been a very interesting setup, let's say, over the past 4 to 5 years now. Yesterday, we were looking at very likely a move to 17,000 bucks. We got basically that. However, so far in the lower term timeframes, a rejection. So we'll also follow up on the lower term timeframes as well. What else? Yes, of course, we do have another day and a half left of the sale, so I should let you know that if you're interested in any one of the programs or products, please, I humbly request that you do watch the promotional videos that accompany them on the Krown Trading application, which you can find a link to in the description below, as they're going to explain who they're for, who they're not for, what to expect, and then you can make an educated decision for yourself if it is relevant to you. All right, sweet. So let's start off right over here, and I want to start off this analysis with something new, something completely new, actually. This is the 2-day time frame on spot price action for the Joule indicator. And basically the setup is this. It's very, very simple, actually. Very fucking simple. Although, it's simple in this one indicator right here because there's multiple things going on. It's volatility, it's momentum, and it's also actually a fib analysis as well, all kind of combined with each other, interrelated as well. And there's a few other moving components, but more importantly, the setup is this. Anytime that we've seen the Joule light or Joule, which by the way, if you do have the full Joule and you know how to look for like the full on confirmed signal, if you look at that, it's going to have a higher hit rate. It's going to be better, but I figured this would be more accessible, so I wanted to do it on the light. Okay, where was I? Yes, so anytime that it does come below about 37 to 38, it's kind of one of the same basically. When it does turn white for the first tick, that constitutes essentially a setup. And over the course of the last 4 to 5 years now, going back to 2017, 2018, we've observed from that setup that there's been an average move of about 20%, just over 20%, with a standard deviation of about 5.59%, which gives it a first standard deviation range between 14.5 basically to 25.5. And on average, it takes about about 3 weeks, just over 20 days to kind of reach that level. So what essentially does that mean? What does it all mean? It means that there's a much higher probability that we do see a bounce to the top, above these range, to the upside of these ranges before anything else. Now, we are talking about statistics, not certainties in this case, and out of the full 19 iterations observed in the past, let's say 5 years or going on 5 years, 5 of those failed. And I should explain the data. So of those 5 failures, two iterations were technically not failures. Like the setup would have still worked, but I didn't deem it tradable. Like price action went up a little bit, but it wasn't tradable. It would have just been a waste of time, honestly. So I counted those as failures, and that's what I like to do. I like to look at things in like worst case possible scenario. I don't want to like paint it. I don't want to like put fucking lipstick on a pig, Elsa thinks that's funny. Oh yeah, that's funny, huh? Put lipstick on your pig's face. Anyways, yes. All right. So yeah, 14 out of those 19 subs had that, response on average. 3 of them completely failed and went the opposite direction, dumped to all hell, and 2 of them were basically like, I would say, non-tradable events that were slightly in your favor. So in this case, we can look at this setup and realize that it actually just got confirmed last night, as last night it did close white. And we got our first tick right there, and well, that would suggest that there is a much higher probability of Bitcoin bouncing to the upside than having downside continuation from this current range. Now, when I say this current range, I do mean the current daily range lows at around 16,300. Here's a thing, though. I think let me show you like the best example of what we've seen in the past. Well, we can actually, this one's honestly probably the best one right here. So this would be a really good example right here, or right here even as well, where basically you can see that the setup occurred, but price action traded sideways, basically treading water. Yeah, there's a little bit of a pump, a little bit of a range, but ultimately the move didn't really occur until the back end, the back end of it, and that's pretty consistent amongst this particular setup, in the sense that we do see, or at least in the past, you do see typically a lot of sideways after that. In this case over here, yeah, this one was basically straight up, and that was a really easy one. But that's kind of like an exception to the rule. Most of them trade sideways and then put in a move near the end. So if I were to kind of draw a little LARP line of what is maybe more likely to happen based off the stats, it would be this. A little bit of that. Maybe see a little bit of a pop here and there, but then some like that around the end of January, let's say. Anyways, that's how I wanted to start this analysis. Now I want to go back into the lower term time frame. So yesterday we were looking for a move towards like $17,000. We got that move. I was on a plane, so it was nice. I didn't see anything of it, but yes. It was rejected in the short term. So let's go see what stochastic momentum is looking like on the daily, starting on CME. The daily is actually going to be crossing up for the first time close over closure since the November rally, when Bitcoin went from like 16,000 to 18,500 bucks. Assuming that Bitcoin stays above what number? Oh, 16,300. That's rather fucking interesting right there now, isn't it? Because that's the exact level that we just spoke about prior. If we go to the 12-hour time frame, we can see that the 12-hour is also vertical as long as Bitcoin's above 16,450 on a closing basis. 6-hour time frame is where things start to turn down. As you can see, it does have a downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's below about 16,950. 4-hour time frame is going to be showing downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's basically below the same level, 16,960. And hourly is going to be flippy floppy here, but likely down as well. Yeah, it is down as long as Bitcoin's below 16,820, which it is on CME as of right now. So short term pressure down. Short term probably has a little bit of a pullback. I don't really have too many strong opinions on that. I mean, we can go and reference the HPDR indicator over here. This is the hourly ranges for what it's worth. Let me just get rid of all this, not necessary towards what we're talking about. Hourly range still showing about 17,050 to the upside versus about 16,650 to the downside. As long as Bitcoin's between there, it's not really doing anything super interesting as far as actual trending goes. But ultimately, the big thing that I'm kind of aware of right now is this over here. How does this resolve itself? How does it play into the other setups that we've been looking at? I do think that there's good confluence with some of the other setups that we've been looking at. But again, it's probably going to take its time. And dare I say, Bitcoin's probably going to go more sideways here. And, you might see another test to the range lows. It's completely fine. But ultimately, patience still the name of the game, which is really fucking unfortunate because it's getting boring as all hell, man. It's getting real fucking boring, huh? Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to leave off on this particular video. I want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.